Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of a new look show. I'm joined with Punk Chef 41 and Ian Bradley. Punk Chef 41 is going to be covering League One this season, Sheffield Wednesday fan, and Ian Bradley below me is going to be covering the Championship. He's a Rotherham fan. Jake, welcome to the show. Ian, welcome to the show. Start with Jake. How's your summer been? And plug whatever you need to plug, mate.
It's been busy. I was meant to have a really quiet summer, not doing much, and I went and did like 60 odd videos in July. And the channel is currently about to hit 1 million views viewed throughout the whole channel. I think it's on 996. So it's slowly going there. It's been really good. It's been busy. Glad the season's back, but it don't feel like I'll have much of the break.
Wicked, and hopefully you break that 1 million views across the channel sooner rather than later. Moving on to Ian, how's your summer been, mate? Obviously, you do work for Over the Bar now. I was going to say D3, D4, but tell us about it.
Yeah, the thing is, I wasn't getting any coverage of my vlogs on D3, D4 anymore. So Over the Bar football blogs invited me to make vlogs for them, which I've just started doing. I did one at Stevenage at the back end of last season, and I've just started, and I did a Millers against Swansea vlog yesterday for them. So if Dan could put a link up afterwards, just check the video out, and I'll be doing quite a few more in August. So yeah, I'm retired, so I've got a lot of time on my hands. So it's what I like to do. I just do it for my own enjoyment, really.
Beautiful. Links to all of the socials will be in the description.
And I'll do it because Dan can't. How's your summer been, and how busy have you been?
Summer's not been too bad. I've not been that busy, in all fairness. I've decided to have a bit of a break. I did put a video up every single day in July to kind of give a little bit of a preview for every club down in League Two. Needed to do a bit of research because we've not been in League Two for some time. But yeah, it's been nice to see what kind of competition we've got this season. I think it's going to be a close division. And that showed yesterday with a 0-0 draw against one of the fancied teams. But yeah, it's not been a bad summer. Thank you very much. Obviously, get your comments in. We've got one from Coaster Chow. Evening, Dan. Voice is still knackered from screaming my balls off for the whole 90 minutes. But in Ballers in town to watch the Lionesses. Yeah, as you can hear, my voice is pretty much knackered as well. Lionesses are currently 1-0 up. I've got it on the TV behind us. Not expecting many people in the stream tonight, obviously, because the Lionesses are playing in the Euros final. So good luck to them. We've got Nat, who's a regular. Evening, everyone. Good evening, Nat. And
hello,
then
Nat.
ATID. Argyle adding Barnsley to the list of massive clubs to come to Home Park and leave with nothing. Sheffield Wednesday, Pompey, Ipswich, Charlton, Bolton on there as well. So yeah, ticking some teams off.
Just do what some clubs do and put it on your honour board. It'll be fine, mate.
I've got a question for ATID. How did Mikel Miller start, and how did he play? You know, our ex-winger.
ATID. If you can answer that in the comments below, that would be much appreciated. So, new format. As I say, we've got Ian, who's in the Championship with Rotherham, promoted last season. Congratulations on that. Jake in League One, who stayed in League One. Fully expect Sheffield Wednesday to do well this season. And then, unfortunately for the Rovers, we got relegated. So, I am covering League Two. So we're going to start with Ian and go to the Rotherham game in the Championship. We'll get the Championship scores coming along the bottom and get that added to the stream.
ATID has said he's injured already.
There we go. Injured already.
Oh, I'm not altogether surprised, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So the way that we're going to do this is spend around 10 minutes or so in each division. We're obviously going to go over our teams' games. So we'll start with Rotherham against Swansea, and then Ian, just tell us what game you want to go through and we'll click on that as well. But to start us off, tell us what happened at Rotherham against Swansea.
Well, if you look at the stats, we only had 26% possession, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Swansea are a very, very good footballing team. They're all comfortable on the ball. But we kept our shape well. We kept pressing when we could press. We had loads of chances on the break. I mean, eight shots on target tells its own story. I was very impressed with some of our debutants, especially Grant Hall at the back, who did really well. But Connor Washington is a workhorse. He never lets the opposition defense rest. We did really well, and I think, even though the stats don't prove it out, I think we deserve the point. It was a very good game to start the season, really. It was quite open at times, and I think Russell Martin's Swansea side will do very well. And the signing of Harry Darling from MK might prove to be a masterstroke. I mean, I know he did score a worldie, but his general play, his positioning, his calmness, his authority on the ball, very, very impressive. I think he was the best player on the pitch, in my opinion. But yeah, as starts go, it wasn't the worst for Rotherham. It was very good. At least we know that we're going to get the 110% effort and commitment that we're used to under Paul Warne. Yep, so far so good.
Yeah, wonderful goal by Darling, but I think some good saves to secure the points from, remind me of your keeper's name, lineups. Johansson.
Johansson. Yeah. One in particular, with Jamie Patterson's shot on the turn. It was a great tip. But having said that, the Swansea keeper, I think his name's Fisher, I think he pulled some really good saves off as well.
Yeah.
One in the second half from Georgie Kelly especially. And Georgie Kelly impressed me as coming on as sub in the second half. He's a bit raw because he's only recently from the League of Ireland, but he's very direct, and he might be a game changer. Probably not from the start all the time, but sometimes from the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think the thing with
it sounds like Germany have equalised.
Yeah. I've just seen a couple of comments have come in. Germany have scored an equaliser in the final, so there's still only 10 minutes left of that game. So hopefully England can turn that one around.
Yeah.
We also have Westerner 8 in the comments. I think my nan had a 6 hip replacements of better injury record than Miller. Okay, so is there any other fixtures in the Championship that you wanted to talk about, Ian?
Yeah, well, Millwall have made an impressive start, albeit a quite well-fancied Stoke side, and on the ITV highlights last night, they look very good for them. And apparently this Cresswell that they've signed on loan, he's never scored in the AFL before, and he got 2 yesterday, which is quite a good start for a loanee. But it looked like they deserved
it's not bad,
it.
is it, if you've never scored in the AFL and then score a brace.
But you know, we're Gary Rowett team. He's just going to put crosses in the box.
Good result.
Just defend it, isn't it?
Yeah. And
they're a bit like us, only probably a little bit better at it.
Yeah, just slightly better at it. Yeah. We've got Ewan Sandland in the comments as well. I think Rotherham might stay up this year. Unfortunately, he thinks you're gonna stay up this season. I can just see them grinding out points and shithousing it. Will you take that, Ian?
I don't know where he gets the unfortunately from. I mean, we stand as good a chance as anybody, and I think we're in the Championship on merit. Yeah. So I don't know what that comment's all about. Really.
I know that I shouldn't say this because I'm a Wednesday fan, but it'd be nice to see Rotherham actually stay there for a season or two, because you can't keep doing the yo-yo thing, because there's going to be a point where Paul Warne just goes, you know what, I want to go try and prove myself doing something else, like a different team that might have a bit of ambition, and that's the scary thing. If it keeps happening, Paul Warne will get headhunted by another team. Personally,
possibly, but I think there's only one club he'd ever leave us for, and that's Norwich City, the club that he supports.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're still 110% behind him, and I think it'd take more than 3 or 4 defeats to shake him from his godlike status, if you like.
I'm surprised he hasn't got a statue already.
I think they will sometime or other. Yeah.
Definitely.
He's definitely the club's. I mean, we agree about the relegations, but he's still won more promotions for this club than any other manager in the club's history. So that should be, that should be recognised.
Yeah, I'm guessing the comment about Rotherham staying up, unfortunately, from what I can see, his profile picture is Madge Gomez in a Rovers shirt, so he might be a Rovers fan, which would explain the unfortunately.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, it probably would. Yeah.
ATID back in the comments. Everyone else was referee piss poor. Yes. We'll get on to our referee a little bit later in the stream, and I'm sure Jake will mention about his referee in his game as well. But in terms of other matches in the Championship yesterday, Blackburn Rovers, we've got to mention Lewis Travis's goal.
That free kick was a worldie, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very good goal to win the game. And Brereton Diaz, unlucky to not get on the score sheet once again.
Do we think he's still going to be at Blackburn by the end of the window?
I'll leave that one to Ian. Do you think Brereton Diaz will be at Blackburn by the end of the window?
It depends. It depends a lot on. He probably could do a job in the lower reaches of the Premier League. He's certainly an exceptional player for this league, exceptional player for the Championship. And he's one guy that Rovers would absolutely suffer from if they lost him, because he's a focal point in everything they do. So, yeah, possibly go. He could possibly go, but who knows?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to say.
On this fixture, though, disappointing for QPR to travel away from home. 4 shots on target and 4 shots at goal, but none on target, which is worrying. And I mean, we were just as poor at Bradford. You think if you're getting them shots off, you've got to at least test the keeper to stand any chance of taking anything from a game. So disappointing from QPR there.
But it is first game of season, so it takes a while.
Yeah, we'll be fairly lenient.
Yeah.
There's one other point I want to make about the Championship, if you don't mind, guys. It was the penalty that was given to Hull City. The penalty that was given to Hull City. It was never a penalty in 1,000,001 years. He bought that. It was a dive. I'm not having that. That for the referee to give a spot kick there, it was bordering of the obscene.
The fact that Pearson at the end was like, "I'm not going to get a fine on the first day," said it all.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised he kept his temper, because he's not known for it, is he, Nigel Pearson?
No, definitely.
He's not known for holding it all in.
Nat's commented saying, "Is that the guy that's been linked to Leeds?" Yes, it is. I believe Brereton Diaz has been linked.
He's been linked to Leeds. I think he's been linked to Seville as well.
Yeah. It's not all England, is it? So
no.
There we go. So, any more from the Championship, Ian?
No. I did notice that most of the games were very, very cagey, very, very tight. Either draws or 1-goal wins either way. But if there's a club apart from obviously my own club that I think that could well struggle this season because of the financial situation and everything else, and the squad, is Reading.
Yeah,
I really feel for Reading this season.
Reading
really.
They look in trouble already. They
don't look good.
Yeah, they will. I think they had a really good run at the end of last season to go with it. They got Lucas Yao, who just got injured as well, who was a big focal point to them last season. They picked up one of our centre backs on a free, Sam Hutchinson, but now it sounds like he got an injury, which he had an injury record. It's one of the one Reading, one of the ones they got to be careful, because they're one of those teams who've been in the Championship for so long, and if they come down again, just think of how mental League One will be with the size of clubs that will be in that league if they go down.
Yeah, it's difficult to get out of that league as it is. So before we finish off, we will have a look at the table. Not that it means much after one game.
I'm gonna say, how are you saying it? I agree. You're out of it all the time.
Rotherham find it the easiest league to get out of.
Yeah.
Also the easiest league to get back into.
Yeah,
onto
true.
the table. That means absolutely nothing at this stage. Millwall on top. Stop the count now if you're a Millwall fan. Hull City in second. Burnley, Blackburn, Blackpool and Cardiff make up the playoff spots. Rotherham, mid-table. Would you take that, Ian? A good old 11th place finish.
Take it. God, not many, I would. Yeah. Stop the season now, 11th. I'm happy with that.
And then the bottom three at the minute, Stoke, Reading and QPR. But as we say, one game played means absolutely nothing. So moving on to League One, we will start with Sheffield Wednesday against Portsmouth, which was an absolute ridiculous game. Jake, talk us through it.
It was an absolutely mental game, but we started really well. Started on the front foot. We started like a team that had the bit between its teeth. Great ball by Barry Bannon again to release Josh Windass, who could be very crucial to us this season if he stays fit. Get pushed out wide, gets a cross in. Lee Gregory misses it, but Marvin Johnson's at the back stick to make it 1-0. And we dominated the first half very much so and had a lot of the ball and played some good football. You're thinking at half time, we should have got a couple more, but we just weren't clinical enough. And then Portsmouth, they woke up in the second half. They got the telling off at the half time, and all their goals are all Sheffield Wednesday poor defending to a T. They're just so poor goals to concede. And they're all on the same side, the same kind of cross, and they're all headers. Our back line is massive. It's 6 foot summit, but it's zonal marking. Zonal marking does not work in League One. You have to mark your man. If you mark your man, you'll probably be able to get it out. We got people like Iwikwe, Hedigan, Iorfa, who are really good centre-backs, and that couldn't happen. And David Stockdale in net, who got 18 clean sheets last season. That being said, he got 18 clean sheets last season because he had a very good Wickham defence in front of him. And the shining point for Wednesday is Physio Delabashiru. What a game. He was just having his own Thunder Chuffer goal of the season campaign that day. And he's a player who got linked with Blackpool. We rejected a 500k move for him. We're looking at getting him tied down to a new contract. He's only 21. He's only 21 and he built like a unit. He really built like a unit. And the goal is good, but that second one, I think his first one was technically really good, but his second one was just to smash it and hope it gets in. We were very lucky not to give a penalty near the end. I'm pretty sure Lee Gregory, it goes a little bit, an inch inside the box, it's a penalty, and then we're looking down the barrel, probably a loss. We lose him for a game. It was silly to do considering he was on a second yellow already. But all in all, great game, got the goals, and we didn't let our head drop when we went down 3-2. We actually managed to get back into it. But defensively, we need to get better ASAP.
Yeah, I think credit where it's due, like you just said, going 3-2 down in a bit of a topsy-turvy game. Your heads have not dropped, and you've managed to get the equaliser on the 81st minute. Nat said it. He's lost whatever air he had left after this game. We know the season started when nails don't exist anymore and hair's getting pulled out.
Yep.
I did miss a comment from Abaddon as well. Millwall to make the playoffs, he thinks. Burnley to win the league. Birmingham to get relegated. Ian,
Birmingham, another team. Birmingham are a team that need to be careful, aren't they?
Yeah. You still with us, Ian?
Too, really. But yeah, I'm still here. I've not nodded off. Don't worry. No, as far as League One's concerned, like last season, there's a lot of big teams in there, a lot of big expectations, and I think somebody is going to massively underachieve that expect promotion. I mean, I've got my own ideas of who that is, and I still think it's Ipswich. I think Ipswich will be mid-table yet again.
I think they could be the season.
I'm not sure about Pompey either. I mean, yeah, it could be.
They've recruited well.
Because they've recruited very well.
Yeah.
I think with
I've often
ATID,
thought what Colby Bishop would be like.
He was good.
So I think with ATID being in the comments, I think it's worth going to Plymouth against Barnsley. A very good result for Plymouth against a newly relegated team. And like ATID said earlier, it's another big name, would you say? I mean, we're all South Yorkshire rivals of Barnsley. I won't call Barnsley a big name.
I've got to be careful. I've got a brother-in-law who's also a Barnsley fan.
But I think it's one of those scalps where they've just come down from the Championship, and it's one where teams will be looking at wanting to beat them this season, and
they should have won by a lot more.
Yeah.
They were really knocking on the door.
6-2. But yeah, League One's yours, Jake. Take it.
They just started off really well. They just kept on going. They had a chance off the bar. Barnsley had a chance off the bar as well. It was a good build-up play goal as well by Plymouth. I was really impressed with it. And it's one of the ones where Plymouth this year got to use last season's heartbreak of motivation. Be the team with a chip on its shoulder. Because you're the team with a chip on its shoulder to get into it. I think that's going to work really well for you because it puts a bit between teeth. Because last season was a bit of a roller coaster for you because you got your manager poached and then you didn't know where. And then to just miss out was so unlucky. I think they're building something that could be quite scary if they get going again.
I'd agree. Would you agree with that, Ian?
I would. Because home park is so far away from anywhere else, and it's such a long trip for clubs like Barnsley and like Wednesday. The crowd get on top of you. They're really behind the team. It can be very intimidating going there. And also, I think Schumacher's got the team to match it. I think Argyle will go very, very close.
ATID, I do not want to play you 4 times though this season. Well, can we stick it just to twice? That was ridiculous last year.
Yeah, you met a fair few times last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Is there any other games in League One that
I want to talk about Vale. Vale versus Fleetwood because it was a good goal to start it by Fleetwood, but Fleetwood's a little bit like Wednesday's. Last year kind of situation popped up again where they just once the team gets on top of them, they crumble. And I was thinking under Scott Brown, he's the kind of thing we don't know. It's his first time in management, but I thought the defense would have been a little bit more solid. But with how quick they scored those goals, they mentally just weren't there. They weren't at the races, and they were very sloppy goals to concede on a Fleetwood point of view, but great goals on a Port Vale. Vale are one of the ones I reckon, depending on how they start, they could shock people a little bit. But I also have, in the other side of me, coming up from League 2 to League 1 is a very hard thing. But we have seen the last couple of seasons, teams that have come straight up from League 2 and be able to be a settled League 1 club. So I think it's interesting watching how they're going to develop over the next couple of games.
Yeah, I think last season, no team that got promoted went down. Am I right with that?
Yeah, it was Cheltenham, Morecambe, Cambridge.
And Bolton?
Bolton, yeah.
Yeah,
and so... Bolton,
yeah. I think the jump from League 2 to League 1 is quite a sizable jump. But I think we've seen over more recent years that teams are starting to cope with that jump a little bit better. And yeah, potentially Port Vale might be one of those clubs that settle and consolidate in the league, or potentially push on and have a really positive season. A little bit like what teams do from kind of the National League into League 2. Sometimes you get that promotion bounce and teams do well and get double promotions. So maybe the golfing classes closing down a little bit maybe.
And I think the only other one is the Forest Green winner. That was such a nice strike.
It was a beauty, wasn't it?
Such a lovely strike. I don't know where he saw the vision to pick that out, but that was a lovely strike. And everyone knows what's going on at Bristol Rovers with the player who got the cancer in his leg. all our thoughts are for you. We hope you get better soon. We hope you don't want to
Yeah.
see that. But
Definitely.
Forest Green, that was just, you're just watching that strike thinking that's a stunner.
Yeah.
And I don't think
Agreed.
Bristol Rovers played that badly either.
No, but I think this is one of those games where you've got to look at, it's two promoted teams. It's going to be a close encounter. I think we judge Bristol Rovers and Forest Green once they've played a couple of teams within the division, maybe.
Yeah. Very much so.
Nat's asked me a question. How was the defence under Moore?
I asked it, Nat, I asked it before we went live.
Surprisingly poor to say that Darren Moore was a defender. There was frustrations there for sure. When you've got a manager and is a good coach, there's no two ways about it. Yeah. I think his man management is decent. I think his coaching style is very good. I think he pulls players under his wing a little bit. But yeah, as an ex-defender, you'd expect defending to be
and Jamie Smith
the priority, but it just didn't seem to be.
Yeah, I said before the show we need to hire some defensive coaches. I kind of think football should go a little bit in the way of the NFL. Have a lot of coaches behind the scenes, because in the NFL you have a coach for each section, and the problem is money not there for a lot of the lower league club to do that. That's the issue. So
no.
And especially when you don't get relegated or anything in the NFL, money's no problem.
Wouldn't it be nice for money not to be an issue?
Yeah.
Is there any more that you want to go through, Jake, before we have a look at the table?
I'll just give an honourable mention to Accrington Stanley Charlton. Very good game. Wickham look like they're going to be good this season. Addy Owen, 96-minute winner. Really good game as well, that. And Wickham looks scary again.
Oh, I've lost track. Where was the winner?
Derby.
There we go.
Yeah. From what I've heard from Oxford fans, they were very quiet, and then they started saying when Callaghan would score the goal. I think Derby are going to be in for a shot once they come against some of these clubs. Yeah. I don't think they're going to think it's that easy. They had some interesting pre-season, so it's nice to see that they got the club back, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of games.
Definitely. An honourable mention from me for League One. Obviously, we have a drink because it's Alfie May.
Yeah.
On the score sheet already. He had a fantastic season last season.
Took it well as well.
Yeah, very good goal. But a couple of good goals from Clark Harris there as well.
Peterborough just like Rotherham now. They know how to get out of this league.
Yeah. So a quick look at the table, as with the Championship, means absolutely nothing at this stage. But you've got Wickham at the top, Peterborough in second, Forest Green, Port Vale, Cambridge and Derby making up the playoff spots. Just beneath them, Plymouth, Portsmouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton mid-table, Ipswich 14th, and then the bottom three, Burton, Oxford and MK Dons. Fully expect that not to be the final league table this season. Yeah. But yeah, it starts to take shape a little bit after around 10 games. So we'll keep looking at the table anyway and seeing who are the big movers every single week. On to League Two now. We start with a bore draw, 0-0. Our first game back in League Two. It was eventful for a 0-0, we'll say that. There's split decision. I don't know if you guys have seen the tackle from Liam Ravenhill very early in the game, around 6 minutes in.
God, yeah.
Initially, I thought it was a committed challenge. There was force there. He's won the ball, but the follow through, I think in this day and age, it's a red card. But I'm trying to look at it from if it was against one of our players. I've seen people say that it's not even a yellow. I think it's definitely a yellow. But then with that follow through, there is an argument that it could have gone to a red. The referee's made the decision from what he's seen though, so I think you've got to go with that. I think Osadebe, very unfortunate to break his leg in two places. Wish him a speedy recovery. There's no two ways about that. We want him back on a pitch as soon as reasonably possible. But yeah, it's not nice to see. I think it was a committed challenge. I'd love to see the challenge on Ravenhill a couple of minutes before, because it seemed just as hard. but Ravenhill committed to it and then just stood up from it afterwards. I think it's one of those where it's a bit of a 50-50 and Oster Davies bottled it a little bit, which has created a situation where he's going to get injured. I don't know if you guys have seen the video. What are your thoughts on the tackle?
It's one of those ones. If it's your team, you like that's a red. It's one of the ones where if it's your team, you're screaming for a red, and if it's the way around, if he kind of went into it full force, expecting to it's like he pulled out at the challenge, and that's what caused the injury. And I think if you just stand up to it a little bit, you'd probably be better. But it's horrible to see first game of the season for him.
Yeah. What about you, Ian?
I thought he got the ball. I didn't think it was a foul. I honestly didn't think it was a foul because he got the ball clearly. And I think it was a committed challenge, but I don't think that Ravenhill could have done anything about the follow through because his body weight was going like that. Obviously, very, very unfortunate that the player got injured. But no, I mean, I couldn't see a foul there at all.
And there you go. So we split the panel as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like you say, I can see it from both sides of the fence. As a Rovers fan, there's a little bit of bias there, but Ian said it as well. He's won the ball. But moving on from that, Lee Tomlin, absolute petulance, ridiculous red card. I think everybody on social media has seen this. It's been doing the rounds. He's kicked the ball away. Well, he's initially made the foul. He's pushed a player over. Then he's kind of threw the ball away, which has resulted in him getting a yellow card, rightfully so. They bring the ball back. He kicks the ball away again. I think he should have got a second yellow for that at that point.
Yeah.
He's got away with it. The referee, Bobby Madley's come over. Then one of the Bradford players come over. He's stepped on his foot. He's given him a little dig in the ribs. He's theatrically thrown himself down to the ground. I don't want to see that on a football pitch. I think it's ridiculous.
Do you remember Nani a couple of seasons ago in the Premier League when he did it? It just that kind of thing, not needed. And he sounded like he was having a really good pre-season since he came in.
It was shout like it was, when he got announced. It was a positive thing, and we thought it'd be maybe one of the key players for us. But if he's acting like that every single game, we're going to probably see him on the bench or not even in the squad more often than not. ATID's hit the nail on the head. He's just a walking meme at this point. He is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got the second
He's
yellow.
done that his entire career. Tomlin.
Yeah, definitely. He's either got the second yellow for simulation, or he's give the other player a little push, or he's got it for even further time wasting. But for me, he got away with the second kick away the ball, so rightfully sent off. Frustrating though, because his backs were against the walls anyway, and is one of our more experienced players. You'd expect better. He should be setting the example. So hopefully
the
that's
timing
nipped in the
of it
bud.
as well, leaving 45 minutes the rest of the game.
Yeah. So to manage 45 to 55 minutes of playing with 10 men, it changed our game approach. We put all his men behind the ball, hopefully catch them on the counter. We had an opportunity from a set piece, 20% possession. It was clear what we'd set out to do: give Bradford the ball, try and get on the counter and nick a goal. But a point away from home against one of the fancied teams for the title, I will take every day of the week. But we need to see a different approach to games against teams that we should be beating. So I'll be interested to see how we set up on Saturday against Sutton. Another good test, but one that we should be going out to win, really.
I'd agree with that.
Other games that I had a look at was Stockport, if I can find them. Another team fancied to win the league, fancied for promotion. We mentioned it earlier in the video about that kind of promotion bounce and getting a double promotion. Didn't go quite to the script. 33 minutes in, they were 3-0 down. Ben Whitfield allowed to leave Stockport last week, gets the second goal, but I think Stockport have shown their resilience in almost getting back into the game, getting back to 3-2. I think there was a chance for a penalty, but it wasn't given, unfortunately. And then there was another chance for a penalty a little bit later on, which also wasn't given. But yeah, Stockport, I think, could be one to watch. Do you guys think the same?
Yeah. They look like they're
I do.
ready
They
to.
proved that.
They look like they're ready to League Two, don't they?
Yeah, I think they're probably one of the better prepared teams for League Two. So yeah, definitely one to watch for me. Before I move on to the next game, let's just have a quick look at some of the comments. 20% possession is terrible, no ways about it. I agree, but Bradford had 80% of the possession and didn't break us down. So it's a game plan executed well for me at an away game. I think Rotherham, you were around 20% possession as well, weren't you?
26, I think. I think
Yeah,
26. But if you keep your shape and and prevent them from going round the back of you, I think you've done a damn good job defensively. I think it should be applauded.
You don't need to have a lot of the ball in this day and age in football to like.
No, you don't.
You've seen it over the last couple of seasons that teams have had a lot of the ball and just not been able to do anything with it, and then the other team just managed to do a counter. Like, I think one of the things that I heard on the Radio Sheffield interview with the manager, and I thought Paul Warne handled it really well when the call rang in about corners and not having a man up top. I think his way is saying, look, I'm not going to change how I do it. We're going to have every man behind the box, and that's why your defence was so tight last season.
Yeah, exactly. Before we move on as well, Nat just wanted to wish his wife a happy 15th wedding anniversary. Oh, what was that here?
I said, getting back to defending, if you defend well, you're very rarely going to lose. So obviously, the first rule of football is not to lose. You can obviously then bring it forward and attack better and win games that way. We won a lot of games last season 1-0 by having that attitude, especially away from home.
Definitely.
It's not pretty football, but it gets the job done.
Okay.
Exactly that. So yeah, Nat wanting to wish his wife a happy 15th wedding anniversary on the 4th of August. When we first met, she got me a Sheffield United key ring. It's cheaper than a card. Brilliant. Happy anniversary, guys.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Yes, on the last anniversary, Nat.
There's a couple of games that I wanted to go through in League Two. Wimbledon, just to mention to them, ending a winless run of 27 games against fellow relegated team Gillingham. I do fear for them. A very small squad, a couple of injuries, and they could be in bother. They need to get bodies through the door. But yeah, Wimbledon 2-0 winners, ending that 27-game run of defeats and draws, winless run. So yeah, an outpouring of emotion there. And then the other one for me is the team that we're playing on Saturday, Sutton and Newport County. It finished 1-1, but I just found it amusing that Omar Bougil and Omar Bogle scored. I just saw it and it made me laugh, so I thought I'd bring that up. Onto the table for League Two. Again, means absolutely nothing. Walsall on top after a good 4-0 win against Hartlepool. Harrogate and Wimbledon make up the automatics. Playoffs, Leyton Orient, Salford, Barrow and Northampton. Out of those, I probably expect Salford and Northampton to be in or around there come the end of the season. That's about it from the top 7, in my opinion.
Salford is all depending on how much faffing about they do. They like to change a manager every season when it doesn't seem to be going right, and that's why they haven't done well so far.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no continuity.
Yeah. Bottom 2 is Hartlepool and Swindon. Swindon had a very good season last season. I think they'll turn it around for sure. Let me get this. Go for it, Ian.
One result that really surprised me in League Two were Harrogate absolutely walloping Swindon 3-0. Because Harrogate were one of the teams that I expected to struggle. And Swindon, I thought it was an away win banker if you can have one on the opening day. But what a result for Harrogate. Certainly.
In fairness, I had Swindon on my accumulator, so they destroyed it.
Yeah.
Like I say, an away
Well,
day
I never
banker,
do
but
accumulators on the first few weeks. But
it's the only time I
they
ever
were
win.
very impressive. Is it really?
But yeah, a good opening day.
Another surprise. Sorry.
But yeah,
Another
a decent
surprise
opening day
result
across all
in
three
League Two
divisions.
for me.
It's what, sorry?
Go on.
Another surprise, but to me, were Stevenage getting a last-minute winner to win at Tranmere.
I think Tranmere will do well this season.
Notoriously poor travellers. Yeah.
Oh, after all that, I forgot to change the results at the bottom. We had League One going through League Two, so they're the League Two results going through along the bottom of the screen. But yeah,
it's a new way of doing it, Dan. You'll get used to it eventually.
Yeah, we'll get used to it one day.
Yeah.
Probably like last game of the
Teething
season
troubles.
or something. But no, I hope everybody who's been watching has enjoyed this new format going through Championship League One and League Two. We'll start with different divisions every single week. But Jake and Ian will be regular on the channel as co-presenters in this. Hopefully, we'll get maybe a fourth person on from one of the divisions to kind of add a little bit more to the chat as well. We'll see how this goes throughout the season. But yeah, fairly positive opening day to the campaign for all of us. None of us lost, but none of us won. So I think we'd take it. I would for sure at Bradford.
To be fair, you all got better like goal differences than me. So
you're on 0, aren't you?
I like to keep the clean sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially after last season with Doncaster, I'd take the positives out that we've kept a clean sheet. I think last season we'd have probably got beaten in that 3 or 4-0. But yeah, we take the positives from what we can. But yeah, an opening day draw for Rotherham, 1-1 against Swansea, which is not to be sniffed at. Happy with that, Ian?
Very happy with it. Not losing your first game just sets the standard for the rest of the season. Pretty good performance against a very good side. So I would have taken a point at start of the game. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with that.
Beautiful.
In what's going to be a very, very difficult season. I know that. So.
Yeah, it always is. And Jake, happy with the points against Portsmouth? It was a tough game.
To be fair, we came back to get our head back into it and not drop them like we did beforehand. And we just need to sort out this defending. We just can't keep having 3 headers and 3 crosses be the sticking point, or it's going to be a very, very long season. Yeah.
It's something that we will keep a close eye on across all 72 teams, and hopefully every single week we'll be talking about your team. If you're not a Wednesday Rovers or a Rotherham fan, I'm sure we'll end up touching upon your team at some point this season, even if it's just when we end up playing yous. One comment to finish off. Thanks, Dan, Jake and Ian. Good luck to all your teams. And yeah, all the best to Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham. We're local rivals, but we're in different divisions, so it'd be nice to see us all doing well, because it wasn't a very good season for South Yorkshire clubs last season, in fairness. So that is where we're going to leave this one. What was that, Ian? Apart from Rotherham, sorry. Tried to forget about it, mate. I tried to push it out of my memory. Yeah. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave this. I hope you've enjoyed it. The format is going to be like this, but hopefully it'll get a little bit more fluid as we get used to it over the season. Once again, thanks to Jake and Ian for joining us for this 45-minute chat. It's been a pleasure as always. Don't forget, links to their socials will be in the description down below. Go and check them out. If you enjoyed it, big thumbs up for us, please. Comments in the section down below. Subscribe to all of us if you haven't already. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.